Hello and welcome to Where No Way. I'd like to share a revelation that I've had. I noticed that I haven't been reviewing enough good comics on this show recently, and quite frankly I feel that's a disservice to you as comic fans, and a disservice to myself in light of recent events. So I'm going to introduce you today to a comic series that I absolutely adore. So, ladies and germs, ghouls of all ages, prepare to enter the weird, wild, and wacky world of the Goon.
Created by Eric Powell, the Goon debuted in Dreamwalker No. 0, published by Avatar Press in March of 1999. After dissatisfaction with Avatar Press's handling of the comic, Powell left and tried to get other publishers to pick him up. In 2002, he self-published the Goon under Albatross Exploding Funny Books before being picked up by Dark Horse Comics in 2003. The story focuses on a man simply known as the Goon, as he has never been given a proper name, as well as his friend and sidekick, the psychopathically comedic but loyal Frankie. The Goon is an enforcer for the infamous and unseen mobster known only as Labrazio. He runs a ramshackle town in the middle of Who Gives a Fuck USA that is under the threat of a nameless necromancer known only as the Zombie Priest. He creates hordes of undead muscle in order to terrorize and rule over the town for reasons that are revealed in later volumes. It has everything anyone could possibly want. Zombies, vampires, werewolves, robots, mad scientists, kaijus, aliens, actual wicker men, demons, ghouls, ghosts, a reverse zombie, which is as awesome as it sounds, and pie-snatching apes.
I was introduced to the Goon 5 years ago when I picked up this trade, the Goon, Rough Stuff. So what better way to share my love of such unbridled hilarity and insanity than to review the comic that got me started. So, this is the Goon, Rough Stuff.
After a humorous 2-page bit involving character designs and stabbing a waiter with a broken champagne bottle, we come to the prologue. This is Lonely Street. The zombie priest had come to town to build a crime family from the dead. Every time a mob war began, his numbers grew until his family's power was second only to Labrazio's. That is perhaps the most brilliant idea I've ever heard for a premise. It's such a simple concept, and yet it's delightfully unique. Even with the priest's unlimited supply of soldiers, Labrazio remained in control due to his number one enforcer, the Goon.
It probably didn't help that his army was a bunch of mindless maggot museums.
Well, not all of them are brainless, as we'll see here. Sir, the Goon has hit our trucks on the West End again. We lost everything. And I brought you that monkey you wanted.
You did say clothing optional, right? Because getting the Beppo costume on him was a real bitch.
The nameless priest? I don't know if I should spoil you by giving you his real name, but for the purposes of convenience, let's just call him Leslie. Leslie here tells his flunky Laszlo, yes, that is the talking zombie's name, to strap the monkey on the table. Leslie tells Laszlo to up the bounty he has on the Goon to $50,000, and then he beats the monkey's head in. This has a point, trust me. I want the Goon's bloated carcass nailed to my breakfast table. I want to stare into his glassy eyes every morning when I'm eating my bacon and eggs.
I love the smell of decomposition and Jimmy Dean in the morning. Almost as much as I love napalm. And I'm a man who loves his napalm.
Yes, sir. If you don't mind me asking, what's with the monkey?
Better question. Do I even want to know?
I'm making a 15-foot-tall zombie chimp.
Oh, thank God. You know, I thought it was going to be something crazy like, say what now?
I'm making a 15-foot-tall zombie chimp. Oh. Man's gotta have a hobby.
Yeah, I tried skydiving several times, but by the time the instructors told me about parachutes, whatever those are, I decided that the concept just wasn't working for me anymore. Besides, planes with long chutes leading to the ground, that just looks ridiculous.
We then move to Norton's pub where we meet our protagonist. I say protagonist instead of hero because, well, Goon's not really a hero type. He's a mob enforcer and all that entails, but underneath the planet's worth of shit heaped upon him, the Goon is still a decent enough guy. It's here we meet Goon regulars Norton, the bar owner, and Merle, redneck gunrunner and werewolf. Yeah, not even kidding there. Norton informs Merle of the bounty on Goon's head, and he decides to transform and attack, biting Goon's shoulder. Goon thinks about shooting him while we get this gem. That's right, Goon. Fill him full of friggin' lead. That jerk sold me a potato-powered clock, and when I got it home, there was a dead squirrel where the potato should be. You can't get no juice out of a dead squirrel.
The Goon is chock full of non-sequitur humor like this. It really adds to the charm of the insanity that characters can go off on humorous tangents like this, and especially have them done well. don't even bother asking why a person would buy a potato-based alarm clock.
Before you say anything, werewolves and zombie rules are different in this universe, so no, Goon does not turn into a werewolf later in the story. He does, however, turn around and beat Merle like a insert Michael Vick joke here. A cop shows up and arrests Goon, taking him away while Frankie looks on suspiciously. The copper shoves Goon into an alley, and Goon figures out he's on Leslie's payroll. "Give the boy a cupid all. You know you ain't half as dumb as you look, ape boy." "What makes you think I won't drop you on your face right now?" The cop smugly pulls out a gun. "Oh, I've got protection."
You got to ask yourself one question. Will I get lucky?
Goon and Frankie make short work of the corrupt cop when all of a sudden they get jumped. They wake up to find themselves prisoners of a minuscule mobster named Joey the Ball, aptly named because he has his right hand stuck in a bowling ball, and after years of living with it, his right arm is twice as big as his body. Goon figures out that Leslie the zombie priest made a deal with Joey to kill the Goon in exchange for half of Labrazio's territory. Joey knocks Goon out and tells his boys to beat him bloody and dump the body. They leave his unconscious body in a place called Rat Alley, dropping a gun next to him. Goon wakes up and finds himself swarmed with rats. Joey the Ball meets up with Leslie the necromancer. "You were supposed to bring me the Goon's head. You didn't live up to your end of the bargain, Ball." "I'm telling you he's dead. He's rat food."
Even though I don't have any physical or empirical evidence to prove to you he's dead, like a corpse or nothing, and I didn't see my boys toss him in Rat Alley, and I'm pretty sure I didn't think this all the way through, but he's dead, I tells ya!
You can't just ask the Ball to shoot someone. When the Ball offs somebody, he does it with creativity, with style. The Ball does it with panache.
And by panache, I mean like Dr. Evil.
No. I'm going to leave them alone and not actually witness them dying. I'm just going to assume it all went to plan. What?
Leslie tries to leave, leading Joey to tell his crew to gun down the zombies. It goes about as well as you'd expect. Hey, idiots, we're already dead. With his mooks gunned down, Joey stares into the barrel of a revolver before... Oh yeah! I just had to pistol whip my way through 1,000,000 rats the size of St. Bernard's because of you people! Everybody get in line for your beating! Goon takes it to the... goons, when Leslie decides to unveil a 15-foot zombie chimp.
So that wasn't a throwaway joke. That was actual foreshadowing. Bravo!
Goon says pretty much what anyone else would say in this situation. "That's it! I draw the line at giant dead monkeys. I put up with the redneck werewolf, the little guy with the bowling ball in his hand. I'll even put up with the big man-eating rats. But this is all I can take tonight. I'm going home." Goon, you better... "No, Frankie, that's it. I'm going home and drinking myself into a stupor. I cannot take one more thing tonight." And while he could have been doing just that, King Kong of the Dead smashes Goon through the floor. Goon grabs a piece of wood and attacks the zombie's stomach, which promptly bursts, covering him and Frankie in zombie monkey guts. The zombie chimp decides to eat Goon whole. He gouges out his eyes, grabs Frankie and skedaddles, lighting a gas drum on fire to finish off the giant zombie chimp. Later at their apartment, Goon and Frankie relax after the night's events. A knock comes at the door and Frankie thinks it's the pizza guy. What he doesn't know is that the pizza guy is a zombie with a human skin mask and about a dozen or so of his buddies along with him. In the second story of the trade, Leslie the zombie priest has a hissy fit over losing once again to the Goon and Frankie. "No fair! No fair! No fair!"
How dare he actually fight back against the giant zombie ape I sicked on him? He was supposed to just let it eat him! I sent him the rule book!
But before Leslie can complain some more, a trio of G-men, as they call themselves, show up in his home, offering to help him deal with Goon. But in exchange for their services, they want Leslie's help with a science project of theirs. Meanwhile, Goon has two thugs tied up. They keep bragging about how Goon won't be able to get them to spill about a drop being made. "Who said we wanted anything out of you? We do this just for kicks." Goon and Frankie then put on the First Wives Club and leave the men to their horrible screaming fate.
Well, at least it wasn't chirpy. No, I'm not going to explain that statement, nor will I give context. I will only warn you now. Google at your own peril.
Allow me to illustrate to you folks the hilarious exchanges between Goon and Frankie as Frankie mows down people trying to get to Norton's pub. Maybe I should drive next time, Frankie.
Why?
Why? You hit 5 guys on the way over here.
They threw up gang signs. Yeah, I saw them.
They did not! They was walking down the street with their backs to you.
Well, they were wearing evil pants. They had to be taken out.
Evil pants?!
If I gotta explain it, then don't bother asking.
Gang signs. Evil pants. God, I love this series.
After hitting a few brews, Goon and Frankie walk out of the pub and are accosted by a vampire. I am the night-stalking servant of the Black Master of the Void. I shall spill your blood and lap it up like the jackal that steals away babes in the night.
You will regret what you have done this day. I will make you regret ever being born. You're going to wish you never left your mother's womb, where it was warm and safe and wet. I'm going to show you pain you never knew existed. You're going to see a whole new spectrum of pain, like a rainbow.
You shall be one with the darkness.
You thinking what I'm thinking? I was thinking we'd strap him to the hood of our car and set him on fire.
Actually, I was thinking that.
And we get this lovely shot of Goon and Frankie driving around with a flaming vampire tied to their car. Goon and Frankie arrive at the docks, where they come upon a deal where a man is trying to give brains to a bunch of zombies. They watch over the deal where a guy tries to give them a ham. Goon throws said ham guy through the window, breaking up the deal. The wormy guy in the suit calls in his insurance, a conjoined 2-headed zombie made up of 2 of Goon's former lackeys. Goon tells Frankie to get his bag, but once outside, he's clocked by a hook. The hook belongs to this guy, Fishy Pete.
I didn't know Cthulhu worked a shipyard. I suppose that all that sleeping and waiting to end humanity must have bored the hell out of him.
So Fishy Pete and Goon battle it out, squid-faced singing limericks that make little to no sense. There was an old woman named Mary Lee, died at the age of 103. For 15 years she kept her virginity, not a bad record for this vicinity. Frankie staggers in with the bag.
Say hello to my little friend!
Goon then disarms and legs Fishy Pete, chops up the 2-headed zombie, and grabs Frankie to head out. Meanwhile, the G-Men find a grave with Labrazio's name on it. In our final story, Goon and Frankie attend a funeral for one of their fallen friends when all of a sudden... Apparently, the dead mook funeral was a setup for the G-Men to grab Goon. They take him to Leslie the zombie priest's lair, where we see the G-Men science project is another giant chimp. This one comes in blue. It looks kinda similar, really. The G-Men want Goon to tell them about his connection to Labrazio. Goon answers them with backstory. After his dad went missing and his mom abandoned him for a chicken farmer, Goon went to be raised by his Aunt Kizzy, a circus strongwoman and grappler. He had a job shoveling animal shit and killing the occasional zombie. On his 13th birthday, his life would change forever. First, he lost his virginity to Isabella, a teenage belly dancer who would become important in later stories.
Yes, I do still love this series, and it is wacky and insane. But I will admit there are some things about it that do make me uncomfortable. This is one of them.
Secondly, that very same night, he met a mysterious, intimidating man named Labrazio, who intimidates the circus owner. After hearing horror stories from the other circus folk, Goon decides he has to meet the monster. He meets Labrazio, who shows him a notebook which holds the addresses and names of everyone who owes him favors as well as their families and friends. This book holds the names of everyone I do a favor for. Everyone that owes me money, everyone who I do business with, and everyone who upsets me.
Oh, and that reminds me. Cher Lloyd, Want You Back, owes 3 minutes of my life back to me.
Cops arrive at the circus trying to arrest Labrazio and a gunfight ensues. Kizzy sees Goon and tries to protect him. She dies in the crossfire, leaving Goon heartbroken. After having shot the cops dead, Labrazio stands over a despondent Goon, who ends the tale. The G-Men then tell Goon about the grave marker for Labrazio. Okay, you got me. There's no passing anything on you boys. Hey, anybody else know about that grave? Just me and my 2 men here. Good. Goon breaks free, killing the G-Men instantly. He dives out a window and escapes back to his territory. Meanwhile, Frankie and the guys at Norton's gear up. Okay, everybody, let's go rescue the Goon! Yeah! Goon then bursts through the door. Goon? Well, it ain't Sally Forth! Okay, everybody, let's take the Goon to a second-rate doctor that don't ask questions! Yeah! Later, Goon soaks himself in a tub while Frankie has a henchman destroy the grave marker. He then flashes back to when Kizzy is killed. We see that Labrazio didn't take Goon under his wing. He just insults Kizzy as she lays there dead. Goon, full of rage and despair, picks up a rock and beats Labrazio to death with it. He then grabs Labrazio's book, Hat and Gun. He sets fire to the circus and walks away with tears streaming down his face.
This is just a sample of the depth and characterization that Eric Powell brings to the table in this series. In other stories like The Life of Buzzard or the spectacularly tragic Chinatown, The Mystery of Mr. Wicker, Eric Powell shows how rich and how deep and how developed the characters are, as well as the world they live in.
Wacky hijinks and insane hilarity aside, the Goon story is about a man whose life has been filled with nothing but horror, tragedy, and death. While Goon does give in to his darker nature at times, he can and has shown that he has a good heart, one that the world seems to continuously and cruelly break time and time again.
I hope that what I've shown you will whet your appetite for more. The Goon by Eric Powell comes with the highest possible recommendation from me, since I consider this one of the greatest comic book series I've ever read. The artwork is expressive and beautiful, the dialogue, especially the exchanges between the Goon and Frankie, are brilliant. The humor, while sometimes dark, is still great. Way, so much way. Again, cannot recommend this enough.
Well, we were all sitting there, it was 3 in the morning. And then there come up a cloud of thunder, lightning, and storming. Well, that lightning flashed, and that thunder clapped, and that chain round old Uncle Fred went snap, rattled and fell to the floor with a thump, and Uncle Fred just sat right up. And I ain't set in love with the dead no more. I don't know about you. No, I ain't set in love with the dead no more. No matter what you say or do. They say the dead can't hurt you cause they already left. But what they left can sure make you hurt yourself. And I ain't sitting up with the dead no more since the dead started sitting up too. Lord have mercy. Woo. Well, when Uncle Fred...
Hey bud, how's it going?
Just what do you think you're doing?
Well, I just got done reviewing and recommending The Goon to everybody. I mean, it's really a great series.
No, I mean your doppelganger. I gotta tell you, I'm very disappointed. You know you can't run from this.
I, have no idea what you're talking about.
Writersblok.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Writersblok.
I'm just sitting here, having a good time.
Jeff!
Oh, what? It's okay. I have him trapped in the ring. And as long as I can keep it charged, he can't escape. Solving the problem once and for all.
Oh yeah? But what if you forget to...
Solving the problem once and for all! Once and for all. Once and for all.
This is not good. I gotta be prepared for this.